Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration. We have in the past, in 2021, convened IGAD member states and partners on the issue of labor governance in our region, and the outcome was a key document, the Djibouti Declaration on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration. Then we followed with the second ministerial conference that was held in Addis Ababa, in which our ministers guided us further on the implementation of the 7 pillars of the Djibouti Declaration. Today we are here in the third session of ministers and experts, again guiding ourselves on the same issue of labor migration, employment, and labor in general. Excellencies and distinguished participants, this session is convened by the IGAD Executive Secretary, and the session will run for the next 3 days. The first 2 days are an expert segment, and then the third day will be the session of the Ministers of Labor and the Ministers of Interior of IGAD member states. The ministerial session will also include all IGAD partners and all the experts, as well as our social partners, the trade unions, and the employer confederation. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, this third IGAD Ministerial Conference is going to look at 3 things. The themes are labor, employment, and labor migration, the crisis of irregular migration on the Red Sea route, and the IGAD Single Visa Initiative for non-IGAD travelers in our region. So I'm glad to give you that background so that we can all pull our minds together and start our meeting with the opening ceremony. I would like to invite Commissioner Helen Appiah to the podium. She's the Commissioner of Labor in the Ministry of Labor and Skills. I believe it's the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection of the Government of the Republic of Kenya, and the Government of Kenya is the host of this third ministerial conference. I would also like to invite His Excellency Suleiman Mumin Roble, Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior, Republic of Djibouti, and the Chair of IGAD. I would like to invite His Excellency Ambassador Musa Meigag, Director of Health and Social Development at the Intergovernmental Authority on Development Secretariat in Djibouti. We are so honored to have with us the Honorable Minister of Interior, Honorable General Mangar Buong, the Minister of Interior of the Government of the Republic of South Sudan. I would like to request Dr. Siral Katin Mohammed, the President of HACTU, to join the high-level podium. Dr. David Moges, the Secretary General of the Confederation of IGAD Employers, CAE, to also join the team at the podium. I would like to invite Comrade Joel Akatoro Dige, the Secretary General of International Confederation of International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC Africa, to join us. Ms. Nihan Erdogan, the Deputy Regional Director for East and Southern Africa of the IOM, based in the region office here. She's here with us. I would like to request all of you to come and sit up here. I would also like to acknowledge all the member state delegates who are here. I would like to invite the Regional Director for the ILO, Dr. Kumbola Ndaba, to come with all the guests. Please follow. Bob is supporting us, make sure we sit. But usually the chairperson and IGAD sit together in the middle, and the minister will sit next to them. It is a large. Please. Please. Please have a seat, please. We are waiting for the Honorable Minister to join us. Our high table is fully constituted. Again, on behalf of the IGAD Secretariat, it's my pleasure to invite the IGAD Director for Health and Social Development to address the meeting.
Assalamu alaikum. Excellency, Honorable General Menga, Young Minister of Interior of South Sudan, Excellency, Chair of IGAD, Permanent Secretary of Minister of Interior of Djibouti, our guest of honor, Commissioner Helen Obio, representing the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protections, Government of the Republic of Kenya, IGAD partners, the EU delegation to IGAD and member states, Mr. Kumbula Danaba, ILO Regional Director, France Celesti, IOM Regional Director for Horn of Africa, East and Southern Africa, Folo Kazaou, President of the Federation of the Trade Union, David Mojes, representing the President of the Confederation of IGAD Employers, Comrade Joel Akador, ODJ Regional Director for International Trade Unions, Confederation Africa, all the way from Lomé, Togo. The representative of African Union, UNHCR, INDOC, GIZ, Interpol, and IPCO. The media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues from IGAD, good morning. It is for me today a great honor to making my opening remark, this technical meeting, preparing the third Ministerial on Migration and Labor. So on behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Secretary of IGAD, Dr. Warkane Gebeyehu, who are organizing this ministerial, because migration and labor are very key in IGAD region, because migration, we are a region of destination transit, and sometimes the origins, because the people who is dying in the ocean, you have also our youth, people that we hugely invested, you know, the youth. It's okay? You hear me? Okay. The Intergovernmental Authority on Development in East Africa was created in 1986 to supersede the Intergovernmental Authority on Drought and Development, which was founded in 1986 to mitigate the effects of the recurrent severe droughts and other natural disasters that result in widespread famine, loss of life, ecological degradation, and economic hardship in the region. IGAD member state comprising of countries in the East and the Horn of Africa, namely Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Uganda, and joined themselves in 1996 to broaden their cooperation beyond the drought to encompass all aspects of regional integration, including social, political, natural resources, and economic development. Article 7b of the agreement establishing IGAD mandates the member state to harmonize policies regarding trade, customs, transport, communication, agriculture, and natural resources, and promote free movement of goods, services, and people, and the establishment of residence. IGAD region faces multiple challenges, as I can summarize below. Cyclical conflict and wars continue to be a challenge in the region, further affecting countries into fragility and undermining human development. As a result of violent conflicts and wars, the region is currently hosting 23 forcibly displaced persons, of whom over 70 million are internal displacement persons, and 5.4 million are refugees and asylum seekers. The number of irregular migrants and stateless persons in IGAD region cannot be verified. High unemployment rates of a 60% youthful population with contracted economic because of the COVID-19 pandemic and low investment in agriculture, whereas the population is significantly a peasant economy engaged in agriculture and livestock, herding in dry lands. This has been worsened by adverse effects of climate change with evidence of extreme temperatures, floods, drought, cyclones, locusts, outbreaks, and soil degradation across the region. Irregular migration, as we have witnessed it by movement of migrants through the desert and Red Sea Road to cross over to Yemen with the aim to reach the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This has created a humanitarian crisis in this eastern road migration. Excellency and distinguished delegate, as earlier as 1986, and subsequently in 2012, IGAD started the development of the regional policy instrument, namely towards the facilitation of the movement of people and mobility of workers in our region. IGAD formulated the IGAD Regional Migration Policy Framework and the IGAD Migration Action Plan. This is in recognition of the fact that migration and movement of persons is a key facilitator of deepening beneficial regional integration for peace and prosperity of our region. From 2017 to 2024, IGAD Secretariat and its member states have achieved significant progress in the development, endorsement, and signing of the Protocol on Free Movement of Persons in IGAD region. The Republic of Sudan signed the protocol in May 2022 in Khartoum. The Republic of South Sudan signed the protocol in June 2022 in Juba. The Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia signed the protocol in November 2022 in Khartoum. What's in Khartoum? Federal Republic is in Addis, sorry. The Federal Republic of Somalia signed the protocol in April 2023 in Mogadishu. The Republic of Uganda signed the protocol in May 2024 in Kampala. You see that we are progressing well in the ratification of this important component of the free movement. The signature of the protocol by 5 out of 7 IGAD member states is statement that a free movement of persons regime is important for the region's prosperity and development. It is worth nothing that even the Republic of Djibouti and the Republic of Kenya, who have not signed the protocol, enjoy bilateral arrangements on free movement of persons with some countries in the region, again showcasing the importance of cross-border cooperation in facilitating the free movement of persons in the regions. The IGAD protocol on free movement of persons in IGAD regions is therefore an instrument that provides a solution in the following ways: providing citizens of IGAD region on right of entry, stay and exit, right to free mobility of workers within the region, right to residence in any country of their choice in the region, right of establishment, including engaging in business venture and investments. The protocol closely aligns itself with the AU continental dimension. The AU protocol on free movement of persons has been adopted by African Union heads of state in Kigali, Rwanda in January 2018. So far, 4 member states of AU have ratified this important protocol: Rwanda, Mali, Sao Tome and Principe, and Niger. In 2012, the African Union Assembly decided to establish the Continental Free Trade Area, which, among other things, seeks to facilitate cross-border labor mobility. In this area, you understand that the regs are very key in the implementation of the vision of Continental Free Trade Area. Most recently, this African aspiration for free movement on the African continent was renewed in the agenda of 2063, which points to an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. It is foreseen that the implementation of free movement of person regime in our region will enhance intra-regional trade and create more opportunities for livelihoods, safe residences, and promote peace and security in IGAD region. Today, I would like to highlight achievement of IGAD EU-ILO partnership towards the free movement of persons regime in IGAD region 2016-2025. We have achieved significant milestone, namely the protocol on free movement of persons in IGAD regions and its roadmap, the protocol on transhumance and its implementation roadmap, first ministerial conference on labor, employment, and labor migration 2021, which led to the Djibouti Ministerial Declaration on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration 2021, its plan of action and establishment of the IGAD Ministerial Committee on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration 2021. Second Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration 2023. Development, it was in Addis, the second ministerial. Development of the tripartism and social dialogue, active institutional framework by the formation and the accreditation of the Horn of Africa Confederation of Trade Unions and Confederation of IGAD Employers. Training of IGAD labor officials of the IGAD member state and labor attaches to the GCC. Enhancing the capacity of member state ministries of labor directly to manage labor migration. Enhancing the labor migration legal and policy regime of IGAD as a region and at a member state level. Implementing the project within the context of IGAD migration governance architecture that is already approved by IGAD organs, political organs, validated the studies and publication on labor governance for use by IGAD and its member states. Improved information flows and communication within IGAD, EU, and other partners, as well as governments and communities targeted. IGAD has also promoted resilience in the context of fragility from man-made disasters and climate change that is affecting the region. More specifically, Article 16 of the IGAD Protocol on Free Movement of Persons in IGAD region enjoins IGAD member state to allow admissions and stay in the IGAD member state for persons displaced within the region due to natural disasters and climate change. Once implemented at the national level, this protocol will assure the safety and protection of cross-border climate-affected persons in the regions. The roadmap for implementation of the protocol on free movement of persons in the IGAD region includes the necessary action to develop, review, and unify laws, policies, and procedures to allow the movement of disaster-displaced persons in line with the protocol. This unique Article 16 in the IGAD Protocol on Free Movement of Persons in IGAD region is a caution for protection of the population affected by disasters and adverse effects of climate change. IGAD Protocol on Free Movement of Persons also provides for protection of vulnerable migrants. Article 13 of the protocol, capacity of IGAD member states to be enhanced in managing migrants requiring assistance. In addition to global legal standards, namely the Palermo Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons, especially women and children in 2000, supplementing the UN Convention against transnational organized crime. Article 17 of the IGAD Protocol on Free Movement of Persons refers to two important instruments of the IGAD Conventions on extradition 2012 and the Convention on Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters 2012. Both conventions have only been signed by government of Djibouti and Ethiopia. It is our appeal that these two conventions are signed and ratified by all IGAD member states, reinforcing the international legal regime to manage trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants along the Red Sea route. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, today we are here to once again track progress that we have made with regard to the Djibouti Declaration and its plan of action, which comprises the 7 pillars of labor and employment policy guidance, ratification and domestication of internalization, labor standards, promotion of rights of migrant workers, promotion of social dialogue, promotion of extension of social protection for all, promotion of gender equity, equality, and advancing regional coordination, partnership, and financing. These pillars above, if well implemented by IGAD member states, create decent work opportunities, safeguard the rights of workers, and will enhance opportunities for trade and ethical businesses across the region and beyond, thereby contributing to peace, security, and development in the long term. These pillars above, if well implemented by IGAD member states, I think repeating myself, to discuss the crisis of irregular migration on the Red Sea route through Djibouti, across the sea to Yemen, which has created untold suffering for our citizens, loss of lives in the waters of the Red Sea, and maritime complex challenges for the government affected by this crime of trafficking in persons and the smuggling of migrants. To once again review the gains of facilitative movements of persons, including the facilitation of non-IGAD travels by the implementation of IGAD single visa initiative that is foreseen to boost trade, investment, and tourism in our region. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, I would like to thank you all for your relentless positive efforts and contribution to the progressive realization of a decent work for our citizens, free movement of persons, and an environment where trade, investment, and tourism can develop for peace and prosperity of our regions. I would like to most sincerely thank the European Union, the International Labour Organization, and the International Organization of Migration, the HACTU, our corporate of the trade union, CIE, and the IT. I'm just naming. I already HACTU, yeah, exactly. You have the Confederation of IGAD Employers. And ITUC Africa for your valuable input into making this ministerial session on the Djibouti Declaration as an enriched platform for discussing and creation solutions for our common challenges in facilitating work and as well as regular movement of our citizens. I wish you fruitful deliberation at this IGAD Third Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration. Sure, we are preparing, all the documents for that. So at this technical level, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Excellency Ambassador.
is a new African country born, also in the IGAD. Its origins, tended as well as a destination of the labor migrants, because we are new and we didn't have capacity, and that is concern to all IGAD countries to help or to cooperate with us, and that is the great challenge. We are in the middle, and it is also some criminal or situation that force our citizens to pass through Southern Sudan to the Red Sea that we are talking about. This is our responsibility as members states to provide provision to these workers and let each of us members work to overcome these challenges. It is not easy through as each of our members state is to cooperate for the employment of our youngest people, but we need to accommodate. Dear colleagues and brothers, it's through these African cooperations, this is where we will defeat the old challenges. And today, also I'm asking to adopt the language of dialogue. Because this dialogue, we will achieve more of things. Because we are all aware about what is going on in the continents. In political line, people are refusing dialogue sometimes, and that is our call to adopt the dialogue in order to overcome all these challenges facing us in these IGAD countries. Thank you, and God bless you and bless South Sudan.
General, we are very honored that you are with us in this segment as well. And most welcome. I hope you have a restful time around as you wait for your colleagues. We are very grateful. And thank you for your wisdom and the determination to promote dialogue for the peace and prosperity of our region. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, it's an honor to invite the ILO Regional Director, Dr. Kombola Ndaba, to address the meeting.
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity you are giving to the ILO. Honorable General Wang, Minister of Interior, South Sudan, Commissioner Helen Apio, Commissioner of Labor, Minister of Labor and Skills of the Government of Kenya, and host of the 3rd Ministerial Conference, Mr. Suleiman Roblen, Secretary General of Ministry of Interior, Republic of Djibouti and Chair of the IGAD. His Excellency Ambassador Musa Megagu, Director of Health and Social Development at the International Intergovernmental Agency for Development, Secretariat. Dr. Cyril Khatim Mohammed, President of the Horn of Africa Confederation of Trade Unions. Dr. David Mokes, Secretary General of the Confederation of the IGAD Employers. Mr. Joel Odiki, Secretary General of ITUC Africa. Ms. Nina Edogen, Deputy Regional Director for East and South Africa for the International Organization for Migration, IOM. Delegates from IGAD member states, HAC2 and CIE, our tripartite constituency, fellow colleagues from the EU, and other development partners as well as the United Nations family, members of the media, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and a very warm welcome. It is a great honor for the ILO to join you today at the opening of this important experts meeting. This meeting sets the stage for the third IGAD Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment and Labor Migration. This forum, as we all know, has long served as a dedicated platform for fostering meaningful dialogue and advancing collective action to tackle shared challenges in the world of work in the region, especially in terms of promoting decent work, protecting the rights of citizens of the IGAD member states, and advancing regional integration. The ILO has since 2021 joined hands with IGAD in convening this important forum. In October 2021, IGAD member states adopted the Djibouti Declaration on Labor, Employment and Labor Migration, which provides a comprehensive framework for a common regional approach to address the structural and institutional barriers to decent work and safe, orderly and regular migration. Through the declaration, member states built a program to promote rights-based and gender-responsive governance of labor market and labor mobility, reaffirming the importance of international labor standards as a foundation for protecting the rights of all workers, regardless of nationality or status. As the region navigates through a wide range of socio-economic challenges, the commitments made in the Djibouti Declaration, as well as the communique of the last ministerial meeting that outlined further action points to strengthen our governance of labor, employment and labor migration, remain as significant and urgent as ever. The IGAD region, with its dynamic and youthful population, holds significant potential. The region has a young population, approximately 60% of which are of working age, corresponding to favorable demographic ratios. However, demographic trends alone are insufficient to reap the benefits of a demographic dividend, where economic growth benefits from a growing proportion of individuals in working age. Achieving this requires investment in education, employment, and social protection, including healthcare, to ensure that the region's youth can fully contribute to and benefit from economic progress. The IGAD region recorded a 7% increase in gross domestic product per capita between 2021 and 2022. However, this positive economic growth has not translated to creation of sufficient productive jobs and decent work opportunities for its steadily growing population. This potential is further constrained by persistent structural challenges, including limited economic diversification, particularly its heavy reliance on subsistence agriculture, a narrow private sector base, mismatches between available skills and labor market demands, limited capacity among labor market actors, and persistent gender disparities, to mention a few. Additionally, the region is characterized by high levels of informality in labor markets across IGAD member states. Workers in the informal economy, including migrant workers, often face a wide range of protection gaps, such as the absence of social protection and substantial barriers to recognition of skills and qualifications. Under such circumstances, the youth from the region are increasingly compelled to migrate within and outside the IGAD region in search of better employment opportunities. Owing to the limited availability of regular migration pathways, many migrate through irregular channels and as a result encounter several challenges, protection risks, and decent work deficits. These include infringements of fundamental human rights and labor rights, physical violence, sexual assault, forced labor, arbitrary detention, extortion, and in some cases, the tragic loss of life. Although the challenges and risks are more pronounced and severe for migrants in irregular situations, migrant workers with irregular status are not exempt from significant decent work deficits and protection concerns. These include deceptive recruitment practices, excessively long working hours, hazardous living and working conditions, withholding of or non-payment of wages, confiscation of identity documents, and various forms of abuse. Such violations highlight the urgent need for stronger governance frameworks and enforcement mechanisms to ensure fair and safe labor migration. The ILO recognizes several measures taken by the IGAD Secretariat and its member states to address these challenges. This we welcome. For instance, the region has adopted key policy measures such as the IGAD Regional Migration Policy Framework, the Protocol on Free Movement of Persons, and the Djibouti Declaration. It has also instated key dialogue forums such as the IGAD Ministerial Committee on Labor, Employment and Labor Migration, the IGAD Regional Consultative Process, as well as the Regional Migration Coordination Committee to promote social dialogue for effective governance of labor migration. At continental level, the AU has also adopted a wide range of policy and guidance documents and established dialogue platforms to promote rights-based and gender-responsive migration within and outside the continent. One of the most recent developments is the adoption of the Continental Strategy on Fair and Ethical Recruitment last year. The strategy calls, as you know, for multi-stakeholder coordination to ensure that African migrant workers within and outside Africa benefit from recruitment processes, practices, and services that are fair and ethical, and that their fundamental principles and rights at work are protected. Within the IGAD region, all of us gathered here today have collectively contributed to several tangible results over the past few years to enhance opportunities for regulated labor mobility, decent work, and regional integration as envisioned in the instruments previously mentioned. Notably, many of these milestones have been realized through the FMPT project. Thank you very much. Key accomplishments include the adoption of the IGAD Protocol on Free Movement of Persons and the IGAD Protocol on Transhumance in July 2021. While the adoption of the protocol by IGAD member states is an important milestone, much work remains to be done to ensure the ratification and implementation of these instruments. In this regard, I call upon each and every one of us present today to champion the principles enshrined in these protocols and to actively contribute to acceleration or accelerating their ratification and implementation. The project also facilitated the establishment of IGAD Ministerial Committee on Labor and Employment which serves as a key platform to advance social dialogue and tripartism in the region. We've also worked together to enhance production and harmonization of migration data, including the development of a roadmap for the establishment of IGAD regional labor market information systems. The project has also worked with IGAD member states on the ratification of 8 international labor standards relevant to migrant workers. Further, with the support of the program, the region has adopted key regional policy instruments and knowledge products, including IGAD guidelines on rights-based bilateral labor agreements. The interventions of the program have also facilitated the establishment of Confederation of the IGAD employers and strengthened collaboration with Confederation of IGAD employers to promote tripartism and social dialogue on labor market and migration governance. Despite the progress made, further efforts are required to ensure the realization of decent work and human-centered socio-economic development across the IGAD region. To build on the achievements of the first phase of the FMPT project, the EU has graciously agreed to extend its support to the program on free movement of persons and transhumans in the IGAD region. Against this background, today's gathering provides a timely opportunity to take stock of the progress made, reflect on the persistent challenges in the region, and continue shaping collective solutions to address these shared concerns. This meeting is not just a technical gathering. It is a critical moment for reflection, learning, and action. Over the next days, or next 2 days, we will delve into 3 critical themes. Firstly, we will be discussing the evolving labor migration dynamics in the region and the importance of international cooperation to advance safe, orderly, and regular migration and ensure access to decent work for migrant workers going to the Gulf region. Secondly, the urgent need to address irregular migration and the protection needs and decent work deficits it creates. The last point of discussion is the potential of the IGAD single visa initiative to enhance regional mobility and integration. Distinguished participants, on behalf of the ILO, I would like to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. At the ILO, we firmly believe that effective social dialogue is the cornerstone of good governance, as it creates the enabling conditions for achieving decent work for all, whilst promoting social peace, stability, and well-functioning labor markets. I would like to extend our deep appreciation to IGAD for their continued partnership and leadership in advancing a regional agenda that places decent work, rights-based migration governance, and social justice at its core. I also wish to express our gratitude to the EU for funding most of our programs, and also all our social partners for being part of this very important process. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Director, for those remarks and giving us a very rich background on the collaboration this far. I was actually asking for another microphone so that I don't have to risk this step several times. Please allow me invite our next speaker, Ms. Neha Erdogan, the Deputy Regional Director of the International Organization for Migration, the IOM, from the regional office in Nairobi. Please come and address the meeting.
Commissioner Helen Opio, Commissioner of Labor, Ministry of Labor and Skills, of the Government of Kenya and host of this conference, Mr. Suleiman Mamoun Raple, Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior, the Republic of Djibouti, and the Chair of IGAD, His Excellency Ambassador Musa Megang, Director of Health and Social Development at the IGAD Secretariat, Honorable General Manga Buong, His Excellency the Minister of Interior, South Sudan, Dr. Sirikati Mohammed, the President of the Horn of Africa Confederation of Trade Unions, Dr. David Moges, Secretary General of the Confederation of the IGAD Employers, Mr. Joel Idegie, Secretary General of the International Trade Union Confederation, Africa, Mr. Kampula Indaba, ILO Director, delegates, distinguished colleagues, partners, members of media, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a pleasure for IOM, the UN Migration Agency, to join you here at the third IGAD Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration. It's a great opportunity to bring field evidence and operational experience into a comprehensive regional discussion. Every year, our teams, IOM teams across the IGAD region, we engage with millions of people on the move, many seeking employment, just like you and me, but often facing unsafe and irregular journeys. We know that the number of migrants we have in the region today, it's nearly the double of the number a decade ago. It's a defining force shaping livelihoods, labor markets, and regional integration. That's why what is called the Red Sea route, and also called the Eastern route, remains a priority for us all. This route is one of the busiest and deadly routes in the whole world. In the first half of this year alone, more than 230,000 people, 230,000 people, they took this journey, starting here in the IGAD region towards the Arabian Peninsula. Many of them women and accompanied children, facing unimaginable risks. That's why IOM and IGAD, as well as dozens of partners and your governments, member states, we came up with what we call the Regional Migrant Response Plan, in short, MRP. This is the main plan for this route, Red Sea route, through which all of us provide protection, humanitarian assistance, and reintegration support to vulnerable migrants. Since the establishment of this regional plan, more than 1 million people have been assisted. I truly hope that at the end of this conference, we will discuss and come to an agreement of a more structured, high-level dialogue amongst the member states, where we can look into the realities of the Red Sea route, the route that is one of the busiest and deadliest in the world. I also want to mention the joint IGAD and IOM Free Movements Program. Through this program, as well as the Regional Migrant Response Plan, IOM has strengthened data collection in more than 30 flow monitoring points. What does this mean? This means we have much better data today to make informed decisions. And this is the data that we are collecting that is helping and informing national planning on labor migration and protection. As we begin this conference, I would like to encourage all of us to think beyond the borders that separate us and focus on the systems that unite us, including strong labor governance that matches skills with opportunities, rights-based migration management that protects workers and reduces exploitation, and digital innovation as the single visa system that makes mobility efficient, secure, and beneficial for all. Distinguished guests, we at IOM, we're very much looking forward to the experts' exchange over the next 2 days, which we hope will help transform operational lessons into regional policies. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Endogan, the IOM. What sticks to my mind is the Red Sea route is the busiest and the deadliest route in the world. So that makes us to think even deeper in this conference to ensure that the recommendations from both the IOM, the ILO, IGAD, the social partners, and the member states will be very specific and actionable so that we can address this deadliest route and protect our citizens. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, please allow me invite Atofolo Kasahun, who's the Secretary General of the Horn of Africa Confederation of Trade Unions, HACTU, to address our meeting.
His Excellency, Ministry of Interior, Republic of South Sudan, Her Excellency Commissioner Helen Apio, Commissioner of Labor, Ministry of Labor and the Skill of the Government of Kenya, and the host of the third Ministerial Conference. Mr. Suleiman Moamin Rovele, Secretary General of Ministry of Interior, Republic of Djibouti, and the Chair of IGAD, His Excellency Ambassador Musa Megegu, Director of Health and Social Development at the Intergovernmental Agency for Development, IGAD Secretariat, Delegate of the Government Representatives, Dr. Sri Lankatim Mohammed, President of the Horn of African Confederation of Trade Unions, HACTU, Dr. David Mogos, Secretary General of the Confederation of the IGAD Employers, CIE, Mr. Joel Odege, Secretary General of International Trade Union Confederation for Africa, ITUC Africa, Mr. Kumbula Nedaba, ILO Country Director for Ethiopia, Djibouti, Somalia, Sudan, and South Sudan, and a special representative to the AU and the ECA, delegates from IGAD member state HACTU and the CI, our tripartite constituencies, representatives from other development partners and the United Nations family, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to make opening remark on behalf of the Horn of African Confederation of Trade Unions, HACTU, On this meeting of members of IGAD Committee of Experts with the leaders of the Confederation of IGAD Employers and the HACTU leaders and the delegates to the third IGAD Ministerial Conference on Labor Employment and the Labor Migration in the IGAD region. Excellencies, members of IGAD Committee of Experts, yesterday, HACTU held a pre-ministerial meeting to take stock on progress made on 7 pillars of the Djibouti Declaration on Labor, Employment and Labor Migration. Delegates discussed and enumerated achievements obtained in pursuing the comprehensive guidance, deliberated on challenges encountered and drawn on lessons learned, with the aim to build upon achievements, to tackle challenges encountered, and to align with the theme of the conference. The meeting identified 9 key issues of focus based on HACTU current needs, priorities. On a separate parallel meeting, our social partner, the Confederation of IGAD Employers, CIE, has also held similar meeting and came up with well-articulated employers' position paper on several key issues. And late afternoon, delegates of the CIE and that of HACTU held a joint bipartite meeting to harmonize their positions to be considered by your good service. The joint bipartite meeting was indicative of exemplary partnership. The CI and the HACTU have proven that they are on the same page on almost all issues of concern in the sub-region. At the end, the joint meeting appointed 2 delegates, one from CI and the other from HACTU, to blend the 2 position documents into one and present a common position document for your consideration on this meeting and through you by the ministerial conference. I'm of the opinion that giving the highest possible consideration to the common position document of the interregional social partners, CI and the HACTU, a pathway to 1, enriching policy instrument and the legal framework that aims at strengthening governance of labor, employment, and the labor migration. 2, consolidate IGAD institutional platforms such as the IGAD Ministerial Committee, the IGAD Regional Consultative Process, and the Regional Migration Coordination Committee. And the third, advance region cooperation and the collaboration to address a wider range of socio-economic development challenges in the region held at one of the most volatile regions in the world and plagued by multifaceted hurdles. I hope that we shall meet this expectation and realize the theme of third IGAD Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment and Labor Migration. I thank you for your attention. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Ato Follow Kasaun, for your remarks and your recommendations to the conference. At this point, I would like to invite your counterpart, Dr. David Moges, representing the Confederation of IGAD Employers. Dr. David, most welcome.
Honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, representative of social partners, esteemed development partners, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Good morning Good morning. Good to be here. It is a distinct honor and privilege to address this distinguished gathering on behalf of the Confederation of IGAD Employers at the opening of the third IGAD Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration in the IGAD region. Allow me to begin by commending the IGAD Secretariat, the government of Kenya, and our development partners, notably ILO, IOE, EU, and other UN agencies for convening this important platform. The sustained commitment to dialogue on employment, labor, and migration across our region is both timely and essential. Our IGAD region, spanning Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, and Uganda, is a critical juncture. While the region has made commendable progress in economic growth and integration, challenge in employment creation, skills mismatch, informality, and irregular migration persist. Labor migration remains both an opportunity and a test of our collective capacity to govern mobility humanly and productively. Migrant workers are contributing significantly to the economies of both countries of origin and destination, yet many remain vulnerable to exploitation, inadequate protection, and limited access to justice. This ministerial conference, under the theme Improving Labor Migration and Mobility Governance for Prosperity, offers us an opportunity to take stock of the progress made under the Djibouti Declaration on Labor, Employment, and Labor Migration, and to reflect on the way forward. In particular, the discussion over the coming days is expected to address how to strengthen the labor market system to generate decent and productive employment, how to ensure that labor migration is regular, safe, and beneficial for all, and how to advance the IGAD Single Visa Initiative and the Free Movement of Persons agenda to deepen regional integration and economic opportunity, and also how to ensure that women and youth are fully included in this process. From the perspective of the employer's constituency, we firmly believe that labor migration, when well managed, is a driver for shared prosperity. It promotes skill circulation, address labor shortage, stimulates enterprise growth, and foster innovation. However, for this potential to be realized, we need coherent policies that links migration with employment, training, and investment strategies. Employers are ready and willing to be part of this process by identifying labor market needs, supporting skill developments, ensuring fair recruitment, and upholding decent work principles. Our private sector's engagement must not be preferential. It must be central to designing and implementing sustainable labor migration framework. So we submit a call to action. As we begin our technical deliberation today, I encourage all participants, government officials, employers, workers, and our partners to engage in constructive and forward-looking dialogue. Let us aim to produce actionable recommendation that will translate policy into practice. Recommendation that can strengthen our labor market institutions, enhance protection for migrant workers, and build a future where mobility contributes to stability, growth, and dignity for all. In conclusion, once again, on behalf of the Confederation of IGAD employers, I express our deep appreciation to IGAD, to ILO, the European Union, and all supporting partners for their continued collaboration and commitment to advancing decent work and labor mobility in our region. CIE stands ready to continue working hand in hand with IGAD Secretariat, our social partners and development partners in implementing the outcome of this conference and ensuring that the private sector remains a constructive and responsible partner in this shared regional journey. Thank you, and I wish you all as productive and inspiration deliberation over the coming days. God bless our region, God bless Africa, God bless the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. David, for those very insightful remarks. We are always so delighted for the Confederation of IGAD Employers engagement and hack to engagement as well in this pursuit of good governance. We have a very special guest in the IGAD region this time, still in the context of social dialogue and tripartism. And that guest has worked at the continental level with IGAD, with ILO, with African Union, and all these, the other regional economic communities and continental trade unions. And this guest is the General Secretary of the International Trade Union Confederation, ITCU Africa. He's our comrade Joel Okatoro Dige, who came all the way from Lome, Togo to join us. And he has a very particular passion for protection of migrant workers and has worked extensively in the Gulf Corridor, in the eastern route of migration. And therefore, I would like to invite him to graciously also give his remarks to us. Welcome, Comrade Joel.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, social partners, friends, colleagues from the media, permit me to stand on eloquently established protocol. First, let me present on behalf of African workers, 18 million and more from 52 of the 55 African Union recognized member states, to the government and people of Kenya, our condolences on the loss, successful interment of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Our condolences to the people and government of Kenya. Distinguished delegates, excellencies, for the third ministerial conference of IGAD, you are discussing very important issues that on behalf of African workers, we want to congratulate you, to say thank you for taking time to identifying these issues as important for your discussion going forward. First, let me also equally congratulate IGAD. Like my sister Lucy has hinted, IGAD has done very well that we really want to commend at the continental level in terms of what we see. First, it is important to note that when we talk about migrant workers, men and women, particularly emphasis on women migrants that are leaving this continent, this region, IGAD, member state of IGAD, contribute over 50% of these persons that move from our continent outside to especially the Middle East. This region, through IGAD, and of course IGAD Secretariat, again a big congratulations, you were very instrumental to our successful creation of what we now refer to as the Doha Dialogue, which is essentially the Africa, the Gulf Cooperation Council states, including Jordan and Lebanon, labor migration dialogue instrument. Hopefully next year, Africa is going to host that dialogue. In other words, it's a platform for us to discuss issues that involve labor migration in ways where we can make mutual benefit from it for countries of origin, for countries of a destination, sometimes even for countries of transit countries, but importantly for the migrant men and women. Various speakers have eloquently established the importance of why we must protect migrant workers. I will just add that why it is so, we do it knowing that as we speak on our continent today, though this is an attraction for our government, it's fair, it is good, but it can be more, is that remittances still remains the most attractive source of foreign direct earnings to our continent, far bigger than of overseas development assistance, which by the way is experiencing brutal cuts across OECD countries. It is more so, it exceeds foreign direct investment from businesses initiative that we want to see in big numbers. And so it is important for us to continue to protect our migrant men and women. I want to add, like it has also been advanced, IGAD's interest in advancing peace, prosperity, and integration. We continue to find very good implementation possibilities if it deals strongly with the current decent work deficits that exist in the region. These deficits, if you add climate change incidences to it that we see also affect transhuman activities, you will agree with me that they contribute largely to the force factors. In other words, those things that force people to move, including the dangerous migration journey our sister earlier talked about. These issues, we must deal with them. Joblessness, underemployment that marks unemployment, informality, the question of very thin social protection provisions that is available to us, and of course, in most cases, very poor wages that we experience. These days, they are really stagnant. For a number of our countries are experiencing austerity measures. If we are able to deal with all of this, coupled, of course, with some social issues that are critical to be dealt with, if we deal with all of these, it is most likely that we will continue to make migration a choice and not what is forced. Finally, let me say that on behalf of our organization, the ITUC Africa, together with IGAD, through your secretariat, and the other regs, the discussion within the spaces of the African Union continues. And this is where I have also been charged to appeal to IGAD. You have done very well, and we want to appreciate the level of commitment to integration at your region. But comrades, it can even be better if we continue to make contributions to the continent-wide integration. The African Union Free Movement Protocol still needs our support. If at the level where we are today, we say only 4 countries have ratified this instrument, we know that the journey is still far. If I'm not mistaken, at least we need a minimum of 15 ratification to have effective implementation of that protocol. And so please, it's an appeal for IGAD member states, because no IGAD member state is on the table yet on that ratification, to please, let's move towards it. We recognize our history. These borders were colonially constructed, not with our consent or our consultation. Therefore, it is incumbent for those persons who even partitioned it have since opened up to themselves. Why then we that suffered this consequence should not do the otherwise? Morally for ourselves, to open up our borders, because for the African Continental Free Trade Area to move faster, goods and services must move freely, human people must move freely, because ideas and initiative drive market, drive innovation, drive prosperity. I want to thank you for opportunity to also address the session. And whilst we are all here, we will do the needful to contribute meaningfully to a process that at the end, we will be proud of what we have done together, that our ministers will endorse. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Fred Joel. You brought very important points regarding the protection of migrants, supporting safe, regular labor migration for prosperity, for development through remittances. But also you've highlighted a very important issue on free movement, the regional free movement protocol of IGAD, but most importantly as well, the continent for free movement of persons in Africa. So you've assigned, you've given IGAD member states a very important assignment to consider ratifying both protocols, the IGAD protocol on free movement of persons, but also the AU protocol on free movement of persons. Thank you very much, Comrade Joel. Please, it's my pleasure on behalf of the IGAD Secretariat to invite IGAD Chair, who's the convener of this ministerial meeting with the Secretariat, His Excellency Suleiman Mumin Roble. He's the Permanent Secretary or Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior of the Republic of Djibouti. Excellency.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Je fais mon discours en français.
I'm going to speak in French. So I'm going to ask you to put on your headsets before starting my speech. I would like to express my sincere condolences to the government and the people of Kenya for the passing of the Honorable Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister who passed away. The Minister for Interior, Republic of South Sudan, Director for Health and Social Development at IGAD, Regional Director for ILO, or representatives of the different trade union confederations. Ladies and gentlemen, experts from IGAD member states, Deputy Director of IOM, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's for me a big privilege, an honor as chair of IGAD to talk to you during this regional experts meeting within the preparation of the third ministerial conference of IGAD on labor, employment, and labor migration. First and foremost, I would like to thank the government and the people of Kenya for their hospitality and warm welcome that they gave to all delegates. I would also like to thank the Secretariat of IGAD as well as the support of the International Labour Organization. Your coordination, your exemplary support have enabled the organization of this important meeting in a regional context where we faced major challenges, but where we also have new opportunities. Our region, East Africa, is today facing major social, economic, demographic and political challenges. We are at a crossroads with regard to complex migratory challenges. And your coming together, your collaboration are going to help us to see how we can surmount these challenges. We need also to look at the opportunities that this represent. Our region has a lot of social challenges, economic challenges, demographic challenges. As I said, we are at a crossroads, and we need to see how to surmount all this. In 2022, we had a number of millions of migrants from our region, and this shows, of course, the millions of people who are moving from this region towards other regions. We also have structural challenges that we need to surmount together. We have youth unemployment. We have irregular migration. We are seeing also vulnerability with regard to migrant workers towards the Gulf countries going through the Red Sea. These challenges do not affect only one country. They are cross-cutting. That's why we need a collective, harmonized, coordinated approach to tackle them. We need to start acting now. The technical meeting that we opened today is an important phase, not only to discuss as experts, but also to see how we can have a strong foundation to see what we've managed to see within our member states with regard to the implementation of the set pillars of the Declaration of Djibouti adopted in 2021 that constitutes operational and policy framework for regional, equitable, human regional migration to improve the migratory corridor between the IGAD region and the Middle East, to see how we can surmount irregular migration, especially through the Red Sea route, where we lose a lot of our people. We are here also to explore opportunities with regard to the single visa regime in IGAD, and to help us have people moving freely, to help regional integration, and also to facilitate trade within our region. Also to see how we can have increased cooperation within the second phase of this program, supported by the European Union, for a more efficient, inclusive management of labor migration within our region, the Republic of Djibouti. Given its strategic position between Africa and the Arab Big Peninsula is important. It is a country of origin, a country of transit, and also a destination country for thousands of migrants. Faced with this reality, Djibouti chose to act by organizing the first ministerial conference in 2021. And we reaffirmed our commitment with regard to regional migration based on fundamental rights, regional solidarity, and international cooperation. On the operational side, we have improved our humanitarian assistance, especially at the region of Obok, where we have a lot of migrants in distress, in close collaboration with the IOM as well as other international organizations to provide a humanitarian response that is adapted. We believe that when we manage to regulate labor, we are going to have regional integration, we are going to create decent jobs, and we are going to improve economic resilience of our communities. Djibouti calls for improved dialogue with the destination country, especially within the Gulf Cooperation, to ensure a better protection of migrant workers who most of the time are faced with abusive working conditions, inhuman and dangerous working conditions. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that we have migration as a choice rather than as an obligation. We are here to ensure that our policies become concrete, measurable actions that are sustainable. Your contribution, your expertise, your recommendation are going to help us go together and to guide the future decisions for the whole region. The Republic of Djibouti would like to reaffirm their commitment to work with all the member states here present, as well with technical and financial partners to construct an IGAD region that is more integrated, that is more resilient. I would like to finish by underscoring that the future of our region depends on our collective capacity to do these three important things: to protect our youth that constitute our most precious talent by providing opportunities, to ensure that we invest in recognition of skills, training, and three, to create a regular migratory flow path to ensure that migration becomes a factor of development and not of suffering. I wish us to provide solutions to ensure commitment, cooperation for the benefit of our people. Thank you very much for your kind attention. God bless our continent.
Thank you very much, Excellencies. Roble, we are very grateful to the government of Djibouti and the people of Djibouti, first of all, for also hosting me. You know, I've lived in Djibouti for 8 years. So it's such a lovely people, a lovely country. But Excellency, the Secretariat thanks you so much for the guidance that you provide to the Secretariat and also for your leadership to IGAD member states in pursuing deeper regional integration where our region is peaceful and prosperous. Excellency, before I invite our guest of honor, I would like to request you that you allow us, that all of us stand up for 1 minute of silence to express our condolences to the people of Kenya and to the government of Kenya for our statesman who went to be with the Lord, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Thank you, Excellencies and distinguished delegates. Please. It's a pleasure to invite our guest of honor, who is representing the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, as well as the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Labor and Protection, State Department for Labor and Skills Development of the Government of the Republic of Kenya. Commissioner Helen Appiah, please, we appreciate that you've made it here, and we are very happy that you've hosted us in spite of the season. Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the Director of Ceremonies. The Chairperson of IGAD, for Labor and Employment, Mr. Suleiman Roble, the Secretary General of Ministry of Interior, Republic of Djibouti, and Chair of IGAD, Ambassador Musa, Director of Health and Social Development, IGAD, Dr. Sirla Katim Mohammed, President of HACTU, Mr. Dawit Mogse, Secretary General of the Confederation of IGAD, Mr. Joel Odige, Secretary General, International Trade Unions Confederation Africa, Ms. Niha Edrogan, Deputy Regional Director, East and Southern Africa IOM, Mr. Kumbla Ndaba, Director of Country Office, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan, the Honorable Minister, General Mangar Bong of the Minister of South Sudan, Ministry of Interior, delegates from the member states of IGAD, from Uganda, Sudan, Somalia, Kenya, of course, Djibouti, Ethiopia, representative of various international agencies represented here, members of the media, all protocols observed. Good morning. Good morning again. Yes, thank you. That sounds better. As you have been told, my name is Helen Appiah. I'm Commissioner for Labor, and I stand here on directives given by the Honorable Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Honorable Alfred Mutua, as well as the Principal Secretary for Labor and Skills Development, Mr. Shadrach Modime, who would have loved to be here but are not able to join you because of the government directive that state officials suspend participation in public activities. And this is because of the unfortunate incidents the country has suffered, and the Director of Ceremony did bring that to your attention, and that is the loss of the retired former Prime Minister, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, who rested and was laid to rest yesterday, 3 days after his passing on. So the government, in recognition of his great service and noting the sorrow that the country has suffered, declared 10 days of mourning. So we're on the third day. However, we have an obligation to receive you, as this was something that was planned earlier, and we cannot stop natural occurrences as what we have suffered. And therefore, we seek your indulgence to bear with us that they're not here, and we hope they'll be able to attend later, if possible, on consultation. But on their behalf, I welcome the delegation and this meeting to Nairobi, Kenya. Kindly accept. I know I may not fit that stature, but the protocols dictate that I do that today. We've already observed a moment of silence, and I will go ahead to just share 1 or 2 words of encouragement. One, it is really our pleasure as the government of Kenya to join the members of IGAD in hosting this 3rd IGAD Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment and Labor Migration. Indeed, today is the meeting of the experts, and as a country we look forward to making our contribution and to sharing with you, and also to listen to you and hear what you have done as member countries since the 2nd IGAD Ministerial Conference that was held in 2023. Allow me also to state that this meeting marks a significant step towards in our collective efforts as government to enhance mobility governance, promote safe and orderly migration, and to strengthen structures, institutional organizations that we have towards the promotion of social economic development in the IGAD region. Our shared borders are not just administrative, but they're important lifelines that sustain our communities in facilitating trade and supporting each other in promoting employment, but also the area of labor mobility and migration, which has become a defining element in the region's social and economic fabric. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome this particular meeting, and we look forward to gather to take stock of the progress made by countries in relation to the 7 pillars of the Djibouti Declaration, including the challenges, experiences, and lessons learned. This brings to our attention our call and commitment to implementing the plan of action that was drawn years back as a means, as a roadmap to fulfilling the Djibouti Declaration. And it brings to attention the 7 pillars, and which are key: the issue of social dialogue, the issue of labor rights, the issue of ratification of standards, the issue of employment promotion, the issue of social protection, the issue of data management remain very key, and which then we hope during this 2-day experts deliberation will be able to come with a way forward in terms of bringing into realization the goals that have been set forth. The themes of the conference, the theme of labor, employment, and labor migration dynamics in the IGAD region remains very, very important, because the ills that we had sought to address, and which relates to the issue of unfair and abusive recruitment practices, contract substitution, lack of information on working and living conditions, as well as safety and healthy work conditions, remain very much relevant to this day. And we know as the individual countries, we've done much to address this. And the Doha Dialogue Forum that addresses the labor mobility between the Gulf Cooperation Council, Jordan, Lebanon, and AU is very, very important. And it is 1 year since it was launched, and it is important that we reflect upon what we have done and what we have achieved, and also chart a way forward on how to improve within that particular area. The area of irregular migration through the Red Sea route that Madam Erdogan from IOM has kindly pointed out to us and has emphasized is also very, very important. And we know that for a long time, persons from Djibouti and Somalia have used that particular route. But I dare say that if then we follow up, we do some study and close monitoring, you'll be surprised that you also have people from these other countries from IGAD also having picked that particular route. And it is important that we also look at irregular migration through the Red Sea route. And ordinarily, we do not think about seafarers as migrant labor, but they fall within the category of labor mobility. And you find that particular route is one that is very, very prone to that particular category of workers that they use that. The third theme area is on the single visa initiative, which is also very, very important, that we walk the talk as member countries, that we make mobility within the region easier. And this is something that we need to also look at very, very closely and come with innovative ways in terms of making it work for all of us. And having said that, Mr. Chairman, we welcome the initiative and the move to the second phase of the program to look at building on the gains and harmonize policies, enhancing interagency collaboration, and to ensuring that interventions are grounded in evidence, inclusivity, and sustainability. So the issue of data management is very important, collection and tracking movements, and finding out how migrant labor is doing is very important. As I close, I just want to say again that we welcome this particular conference, and Kenya remains committed to regional cooperation under IGAD's framework, particularly in advancing human mobility and labor migration to support development and stability in the region. We recognize cross-border migration is not only a security or an administrative concern, but also a matter of livelihoods, resilience, and peace building. This is important to underscore, as most speakers that have spoken before me, particularly the chairman, has raised that. Our approach to dealing with labor migration should not be seen as a humanitarian intervention, but one that seeks to drive economic development and indeed human development. As I close, I therefore urge the meeting to deliberate robustly and propose practical solutions that will strengthen the institutional capacity of IGAD, but also for labor within our respective countries, but also promote information sharing and coherence in national and regional migration frameworks. Let us also ensure that the voices of migrant workers is also heard, that there is space for this, as well as other stakeholders. And we want to appreciate the contribution, the sustained contribution by the social partners, and who are represented here by the representative of the federations of workers, as well the Federation of employers, and we commend and appreciate that in the spirit of social dialogue. In conclusion, I wish to reaffirm the government's full support for IGAD's ongoing efforts to operationalize regional migration frameworks and to promote cross-border cooperation and to leave no one behind. I thank you all for your attention and wish you all fruitful deliberations of which I will be part and parcel of the process. And as I conclude, on behalf of the Cabinet Secretary, who is not able to be here, Honorable Alfred Mutua, I now declare this particular meeting officially opened. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. of Honor. Thank you for officially opening our meeting. Thank you for hosting us. We are very grateful. Excellency, IGAD Chair, the Secretariat would like to present to you the agenda for adoption. Succeeding this opening ceremony will be the photography sessions. We shall start with a photographic session here, and then we shall go outside, Excellency Chair. But substantively, the next session will be the recalling of IGAD policy instruments, which are relevant for this ministerial session. We are going to give you a briefing on the IGAD protocol on free movement of persons. The IGAD Special Envoy on Red Sea, Gulf of Aden and Somalia, Resgas, will also give the meeting a presentation, and then we shall also present the Djibouti Declaration on Labor Employment and Labor Migration. Excellency Chair, on setting the scene, ILO, a technical assistance agency, will present on labor employment and labor migration dynamics in IGAD region. In the afternoon, after lunch break, we are going to have presentations and plenary discussions, and the presentations will be by IGAD member states present. They will take stock of the progress made in the implementation of the Djibouti Declaration on Labor Employment and Labor Migration 2021. We'll start in alphabetical order from the Republic of Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia. After the coffee, Excellency Chair will continue with the stock taking with the presentations from South Sudan, Sudan, and Uganda. Tomorrow, Excellency Chair, we shall be taken through the international labor standards by ILO, specifically looking at Conventions 181, C97, 143, 189, and Convention 190. We shall hold a plenary discussion on labor migration dynamics in the Horn of Africa. It is actually a panel discussion, I beg your pardon. And we'll look at the Middle East corridor and the Doha Declaration, the progress we've made, the opportunities, challenges, and policy recommendations. The discussants tomorrow, who we request to be ready for the panel, will be the AUC, who have actually not, they are not present, IGAD Secretariat, the ILO, ITUC, Africa, HAC2, and CIE. After the coffee break, we'll have a presentation and a plenary discussion on irregular migration through the Red Sea route or the Eastern route, the root causes, challenges, interventions, and recommendations. And we'll also try to integrate migrant voices in this presentation. And the IGAD technical assistance partner in this session is the IOM. Excellency Chair, in the afternoon, we shall move together on the establishment of a regional digital and harmonized IGAD interoperable ID system and single visa for the IGAD, non-IGAD travelers to promote regional trade, tourism, and investment. We shall also look at the conceptual framework of this proposed digital visa system for non-IGAD travelers, as well as the proposed protocol on the single visa for non-IGAD citizens. We shall be led through this by the IGAD Secretariat, and the expert Kebron Dijene will make the presentation and lead the discussion on that. In the afternoon, the experts of IGAD member states with technical assistance from the Secretariat and the technical assistance agencies present will prepare a draft communique for consideration by the ministers, who will convene on the third day of the ministerial session. Excellency Chair, for the ministerial session that will happen on Wednesday, we have the opening ceremony in which we have highlighted all the dignitaries who are going to speak at the opening ceremony. While we already have all the dignitaries present, the African Union Commission gave their apologies. They will not be present. Therefore, the others are the ones we expect here. The IGAD Executive Secretary, the convener with you of this conference, will be here. The ILO Regional Director for Africa and Assistant Director General is expected to be here. The IOM Regional Director is expected to be here. The EU Ambassador to the Republic of Djibouti is expected to be here. She has confirmed. And then the chairperson himself, the Republic of Djibouti, the Honorable Minister will be here. And then also we're expecting our gracious host, the Honorable Minister of Labor of the Government of Kenya. He has confirmed Dr. Alfred Mutua will be here with you. Excellency Chair, in the afternoon, after that, we shall have a presentation of the recommendations of the experts meeting, where they will present the deliberations of experts for day 1 and 2. And then we'll have statements from IGAD Ministers of Labor, Employment and Labor Migration, followed by statements by IGAD Ministers of Interior on status of free movement of persons in the region and the potential for IGAD single visa regime for non-IGAD citizens. Excellency Chair, in the afternoon, we hope to have the ministers adopt the communique of the IGAD Third Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment and Labor Migration, and also officially launch the second phase of this program on free movement of persons and transhumance in IGAD region. The closing ceremony will be officiated by His Excellency the IGAD Chair, with the IGAD Executive Secretary and the Cabinet Secretary from the Government of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. Alfred Mutua. Excellency Chair, before I request you to consult your member states for the adoption of the agenda, I would also like to submit to you a request for the amendment of the agenda of the ministerial opening session. The social partners, HAC2 and CIE, request your indulgence, Excellency, that they make a presentation on the floor, that they make a presentation to the ministers respectively, the Secretary General of CIE and the Secretary General of HAC2 request your indulgence to give them that opportunity of 2 minutes each to make their remarks on the floor. Excellency, I submit the agenda for adoption.
Thank you very much for having presented the agenda. I totally agree with what is in the agenda.
The agenda has been adopted, and so we can celebrate by a clap of hands. Thank thank you so much, distinguished excellencies and delegates and speakers at the panel. It has been a very interactive and insightful first session. Bob would like you to stand for a photo at the podium, and then Ambassador Musa will lead the delegation outside and will get all of us outside to take the group photo outside for the whole conference. But we can begin with standing at the podium here. Distinguished delegates, please, we can all go outside for the group photo. And I will be requesting you to return as soon as possible for the presentation of the special envoy on the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden and Somalia. He has another commitment.
Mic check, mic check.
Angoja. Sasa ongea flow. Sasa iko sawa.
Mic check 1 2 3. 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 Mic test, mnanisikia? Hii ni channel 1. Hii ni channel 1 English. Mic test, mnanisikia? Hii ni channel 2. Channel 2 French. Channel 2 French. Unanisikia? Mic. Hii ni channel 2 French. Unanisikia?
English channel 1. Channel 1 English. Channel 1 English testing. Good. Okay.
Mic test 1, 2. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check, check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2.
Magic. 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 Magic.
magic. Was magic. Was magic. Was magic. Was magic. Was magic.